Are you still taking international arrivals when Sydney is in lockdown?
Well, we are doing that because it's the right thing to do. It's the compassionate thing to do, and I appreciate the risk that comes with that, which is why I've argued for a long time that given New South Wales is doing the heavy lifting there, that consideration should be given to those vaccines coming our way. Obviously, if we said to Australians, you can't come back home, and that's really a decision for the federal government. But I support their decision in continuing to allow Australians to come back home. I just wish every state would do its fair share. We've had other states, because of their situation, not be able to do their fair share. We will continue to do that. But I think it demonstrates the burden that New South Wales has been carrying, and the fact that we anticipate and expect those decisions are made at a Commonwealth level. We'll continue to do what we've been asked to do because it's the right thing to do, and certainly many families from other states have written to the New South Wales government grateful that we've been letting their loved ones back in, because imagine being an Aussie stranded somewhere overseas and not being able to come home. Now, that is a basic human right that all of us have as Aussies, to be able to come back home. And that's why the New South Wales government has supported the national strategy. But I just ask other state leaders to also consider what they can do, as difficult as it is. It's just getting the right balance.
Premier, Anastasia Palaszczuk said this morning, she flagged this morning already, Brisbane's got a much smaller outbreak than what we do at the moment in Sydney, but she's already flagged that she would like to take to National Cabinet a reduction in those numbers going through hotel quarantine there. We're in lockdown with a much bigger outbreak here. Would you support a reduction?
Well, the risk occurs whether you're bringing back 100 Aussies a week or 3,000 Aussies a week. The risk is still there. It doesn't really relate so much. I mean, obviously, the more you're bringing home, the risk intensifies. But we've seen states with bringing back home very small numbers of Aussies still having outbreaks. So we're seeing some states still experience outbreaks with a very small number of Aussies coming back home in that week. So we know the risk is always there. The risk of an outbreak, so long as you're welcoming Aussies back home, the risk is always there. As I said, it only takes one person to have a lapse in concentration for the virus to get out. And that's why I'm so deeply grateful that thousands of our men and women on the front line have not had that lapse. They've actually been on the job 100%. So the risk is always there, no matter how many people you're bringing home. Obviously, the larger numbers you have, the greater the risk. But our system is robust. We have a rhythm, and we're supporting the nation. And let's remember, every time a plane lands in Sydney Airport, it's bringing valuable freight. It's making sure post-COVID that airlines aren't giving up on Australia, because we have to think about life post-COVID. We have to think about life once our population is vaccinated. We're starting to see countries talk to each other about opening travel. We don't want Australians left behind in the future because we've taken the wrong decisions today. So they're all the things that we have to factor, but all the things the federal government has to factor in terms of international returns, as that's their policy area. What we're doing as a state is our fair share. And I just ask other states to consider it. But it is a scary time. Let's not pretend that when you have a contagious variants, and obviously these contagious variants are going to be the norm in the future, it is scary. It's scary having to juggle all the balls. But what we need to do is make sure that we have the right balance of policies and settings. And I'm deeply grateful to our citizens for understanding that. And I appreciate frustrations will increase as the lockdown progresses. But it's a necessary decision we had to take.